while testing a new rocket ship. Our heroes were bombarded by mysterious cosmic rays from outer space.
4 facts on Fantastic Four 14. Number 1. The Puppetmaster seemingly perished battling the Fantastic Four in Fantastic Four 8. Number 2. By this issue, Namor appears to have lost his ability to mimic the powers of sea creatures as seen in Fantastic Four 6 and 9. And Puppetmaster's death to the octopus at the end, well, that doesn't hold either. We find out later in Strange Tales 116 that he escaped the sub at the last possible minute. Number 3, this issue also has a 1-page feature explaining how the Human Torch's powers allow him to fly in the air. And number 4, this issue features a corner box featuring the heads of Ben, Reed, Johnny, and Sue. The art is recycled from the cover of Fantastic Four 11. This corner will continue to show up until Fantastic Four 61.
The Fantastic Four are returning from their adventure on the moon, landing their rocket at the airport greeted by a crowd of their fans. Exiting the ship, they are swamped by fans, as well as fame seekers such as the wrestler known as the Golden Angel, who challenges the Thing to a fight with disastrous results. After Sue is harassed by Hollywood agents, the Human Torch helps his teammates flee back to the Baxter building by creating a hot air funnel to carry them back home. After settling in, Reed is disturbed to find Sue monitoring the world's oceans to try and find the submariner, damaging his self-esteem and leaving him to question the future of their relationship. Meanwhile, at a local sanitarium, the Puppetmaster, having survived his last encounter with the Fantastic Four, has been released to start his life over. However, the Puppetmaster is far from cured and seeks to get revenge against the Fantastic Four. After some consideration, the Puppetmaster decides to use his special clay to make the submariner his slave and pit him against their mutual foes. Enslaved, the submariner returns to his empty kingdom of Atlantis and uses his Mento fish to send out a communication asking Sue to come to him. When she meets up with Namor at the docks, he kidnaps her and takes her back to his undersea realm. The Puppetmaster then forces Namor to contact the Fantastic Four, telling them that he has the Invisible Girl prisoner and taunt them into coming to rescue her. The Puppetmaster then boards a sub to watch the battle from close by. After the Thing picks up his girlfriend Alicia Masters, the Fantastic Four take a sub of their own to the submariner's domain. After fighting through the various undersea defenses, Reed, Johnny, and Ben confront Namor in his throne room. With Sue trapped in a glass sphere ensnared by an octopus, the Fantastic Four square off against the submariner. At first, the group is kept at bay, thanks to the various undersea creatures that Namor has at his disposal. However, the Thing manages to get past Namor and free Sue, knocking the octopus out into the ocean. When the Puppetmaster tries to order the submariner to slay his foes, Namor cannot bring himself to harm Sue, and fights off the Puppetmaster's control, causing the clay puppet to explode. When the Fantastic Four try to attack Namor again, Sue stands in their way and convinces them to stand down. Meanwhile, the octopus ejected from the submariner's palace reaches the Puppetmaster's sub and crushes the submersible before the villain can put the octopus under his control. While the submariner, still not over his animosity towards the surface world, allows his foes to leave his kingdom.
Shades presents Favorite Panel Theater.
And back in New York,
We know how dangerous Namor is, so just on the chance that we don't return from this mission, we'd better leave the key to our secret files with the police commissioner.
are you kidding? What does that animated sardine have against us?
Reed's right, Playmate. We owe it to the police.
Well, while you campfire boys do your good deed, I'm gonna say goodbye to Alicia. I don't want her worrying about where I am.
We'll meet at our private pier in 30 minutes.
Thing detaches the car from the pogo plane, his seat, and then flies down to Alicia's and decides to park in a public parking. There's a guy looking up who looks oddly like Commissioner Gordon with a big pipe. It says, minutes later at a midtown parking lot.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Hold on there, fella. This parking lot is only for automobiles. You can't park that thing there.
Where have you been, Mac? Ain't you ever seen a car with wings before?
Well, there's nothing in the rules about flying cars. Just play safe. I'll have to charge you double rates.
There's the dough, Smiley. And now go split it with your partner, Jesse James. Then, in Alicia's apartment studio...
Oh, Ben, I'm frightened. The Submariner is so powerful, so unpredictable. And you'll be facing him where he's the strongest, in his own domain.
Well, Reed, Johnny, and yours truly ain't exactly babes in arms.
Oh, but Ben, if anything were to happen to you, I don't know what I'd do. You mean so much to me. And I'd be alone, with no one to look after me.
I was a meathead to come here. I can't stand to see a gal cry. Okay, baby, you got it. I'll take you with us. Whatever happens, we'll be together. This is Jack. Now we are at the final episode of the Fantastic Four radio show. The source material was issue 14, The Submariner Strikes. It's a big supervillain team-up. I've got my supervillain team-up behind me, starting with Shades.
Hello.
And the boss, Ryan.
Hello, hello.
He's our personal puppet master. The idea that the Puppet Master takes over the Submariner, then uses him against the Fantastic Four. What did you think of that, Ryan?
That's an interesting concept to think that someone with so much power can be taken over like that.
Yeah, remote controlling somebody is an interesting idea, but it's silly.
I totally love this story, and I found a contradiction. That's correct. We have the Thing.
Here we go.
Lifting 10 tons 4 issues from now in the Super Skrull issue that he can only lift 5. It was the Skrull Emperor that said that.
Oh, I'm so glad you're straightening this out.
I'm not really sure how to cure this. Where would the no prize be?
You know,
on that?
maybe he just had outdated information, that's all.
Great. Another one.
You know what? Ryan has a point. Because the Emperor would have had information from issue number 2. And the Thing's strength goes up as it goes. So maybe back then in issue number 2, he only lifted 5 tons. You know what? That's really good, boss.
Yeah, that's not something to be proud of. Now there's 2 of them. Great.
Now, there was some new powers shown off in here, and I love the artwork behind them. One was Reed Richards formed himself into a human net, but it looked like a cargo net. When he attacked the Submariner. I really love the artwork on it. I love the way the net looked.
Yeah, that's good. Everything's silly, but it was drawn well. I do admit it was drawn well.
Another great use of Reed Richards' powers, because you can use ropes all you want, but ropes eventually rip or they'll get torn or something. But you can't rip Reed Richards unless you probably cut him or something. I don't know. I doubt you can even do that because he's like rubber.
You know, the scenes with the Puppet Master possessing Submariner with talking to the puppet and having the scene when Johnny used his flame to do kind of what the Flash does, where he goes around and around, creates a tornado. It pulled the Fantastic Four from a scene where they're being mobbed in the airport all the way to the Baxter building. Love that whole scene where Thing deals with the wrestler and Reed's getting pulled by 2 different fan clubs, so his leg is stretching all over the place. And Johnny gets him out of there.
I believe we saw the introduction of it not too long ago. We mentioned that. The fact that he's able to fly fast enough to create a vortex, especially a heat vortex, vacuum, whatever you want to call it, is pretty cool.
Do you want to know what I think? It's silly.
Possibly.
It's silly. He created a thing that, whatever, just a hurricane, tornado, twister thing to suck his friends out. And it's silly.
And that's why we love it.
But Stan Lee is, world famous and me not so much. So I have to acquiesce and say, maybe it's me.
Here, Sue is kind of the voice of reason throughout this story.
As she should.
Where everybody else is immediately assuming the worst about Namor, which you would kind of expect. Sue is the one who keeps it together. Alicia ends up being taken with them.
Always want a blind girl with you when you go to fight monsters and people underwater. You always want that blind girl there with no special powers because, how would you win?
Ben, if a woman cries, he goes and does whatever the woman wants, and that's how Alicia ends up in there. But she also is able to see that there's something wrong with the Submariner. Of course, she has a lot of experience with the Puppet Master himself. One of the great battles in here was Thing versus the Octopus. The artwork on this battle was really, really fun, at least for me. What did you guys think of the artwork when Thing took on the Octopus to save Sue Richards' life?
Do I have to keep saying silly? I need a thesaurus to find other words.
So much blue, though. I
So
wish they
much
would have
blue.
used a different color, different odd colors. Even the Thing, you could.
Well, he's underneath the water.
Well, yeah, but
And he's
the
supposed to
water
be-
isn't dyed blue. You know, you think you see through it for the most part. It's transparent at least. So
But the art was good. I mean, it looks like he's...
it looks cool, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
love the way the
Jack's
octopus looks.
Jack's favorite smarmy line here.
Okay, first dives into the bowl where the octopus is about to crush the invisible girl. As remember, she doesn't have her force fields yet. This is issue 14, not 22. Ben grabs the octopus and does his best Popeye impression and throws the octopus out of the aquarium, and it looks awesome. Jack Kirby is made to draw monsters. When Thing goes to get Sue out of the bubble, he opens the bubble, he grabs Sue, and he says to her first, "Hold your breath, Sue. I'll have you out of there in 2 seconds." When they're both in the water, where there's no air bubble to talk, Thing is thinking, "Brave kid, not a whimper out of her. First time I ever saw a female could keep her mouth shut so long." And Thing means it as a compliment. This is another Ben thing where he means that as a compliment.
He's not exactly the sensitive modern man that the girly men that we're all used to. He's still a rugged,
he's
kind of a dunderhead.
He's a tough guy,
He's a
you
tough
know.
guy.
So anyway, John, what did you think of Torch in this, his desperation to save his sister? He risks it all a couple of times. He gets his power sucked out by one of Namor's mega fish. Johnny never quits, even when he thinks he's going to die during the whirlpool.
We all know that Johnny can pull through whenever he needs to. He's not one to give up, and as much as Thing and him like to fight, that's one thing that Thing always says about him. He's a tough kid.